Yeah, it's literally Destiny, just third person. Honestly, though, I kind of fuck with that. I'm about to cop that shit on Tuesday. I was looking into that shit. Looks good as fuck. That's fine. What are we talking? Like an hour? Yeah, yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. He said you go to work. Oh shit, bro. Honestly though, that's kind of fun though. That's kind of fun though. Yeah, I'm about to stream this dumb shit to you. I just started my live stream. It doesn't include party audio, but this shit be kind of crazy. Uh, why? Oh, that's why I'm fucking stupid. Playing FireWatch, bro, for the Platinum. Right, yeah.
Hello there, welcome to the FireWatch audio tour. My name is Rich Summer. I voiced the character of Henry, the guy that you're currently controlling with those buttons there. And I'll be chatting with you in a little bit.
Oh,
Thanks
this
for checking
shit's
it out.
fucking ass, bro. Hey, yo. That's what I was gonna say, bro. Like, what the fuck? Julio wants to get a dog. Get the fuck out. You fucking same bucket. You adopt the shepherd and name him Mayhem. What the fuck? Do I go with a beagle or a shepherd? I feel like a shepherd is good. Yeah, kids are fucking dumb. The poor dog.
Hi, I'm Sean Vanneman. I wrote
Oh,
the book
good.
of 100 90% of this game.
Hey, I'm Jake Rodkin. I did a lot of level design, UI design, and worked with everyone on the story for Firewatch.
The game has this weird structure that Chris and I talk about in another tape. This is the first thing I wrote, was this opening of the game.
Man, why do I care
jumps
about any of
between
this?
Henry's life and the trip out to the woods. And I used a little product called Twine to do that, which you can download and use. It's just a very simple choose-your-own-adventure tool. The simplest way to program a video game that one can then share with friends and play.
I think we were worried that the team would sort of perceive Henry as a blank slate, as sort of a generic game player protagonist, and we wanted to make sure, or we wanted to get everyone's mindset. You're playing as a specific guy with a specific life.
Yeah, there's a reason when you play video games that a lot of your protagonists have amnesia, because it's really difficult when you're driving a character around who knows things about their life, or his or her life, that you, who
This guy keeps talking, and I do not care.
So, yeah, we kept trying to write an opening of the game that happened sort of like weeks into Henry's experience, and then quickly realized that it was like, well, why would he not be able to say X? Well, because his relationship with his wife is Y. So, but the player doesn't know that. Yeah. And this was the quickest way to get everybody on board, was to just take the thing that I wrote that answered the question, I think, for Jane and you at the beginning, which was like, who is Henry? And I would write these character profiles that were really bad. And then I went, what if I just let you play a thing? And then you can figure out who he is. And we held on to that until we had the idea to put into the game.
It means that when you're playing Firewatch and Henry and Delilah start talking about Henry's wife, you don't have to learn it through his dialogue.
Me too, buddy.
You made the choices that brought him where he is today.
I'm probably gonna get there around 5.
Hi, it's Jake again.
Hey, I'm Chris Remo.
Oh, hey, Chris.
Hi there. I was a game designer and the music composer on Firewatch.
Nice.
So you're hearing now the first piece of interactive music that went into Firewatch. The first piece of music that actually
responds to what you're doing in the game?
Exactly, yeah. So this is a piece of music that's divided into technically 6 parts. And what's happening is, as you're playing through this introductory sequence, when you hit certain points in the narrative, it sends a signal to Wise, which is the name of the audio middleware we're using, and then when Wise gets that signal, it waits until the next sort of musically appropriate transition point, and then when it hits that, it smoothly transitions into the next section of music. And so
it just happens to get sadder and sadder at the exact rate that your life gets sadder and sadder.
Yeah, exactly. This was a challenging process, both because I had no idea what the music should sound like, and also because it was the first interactive piece of music in the game. So the technical sort of just, how does this work, was also a part of it. But as it turned out, this music was changed. I mean, Jake, you may remember this. This music changed relatively little over the course of development in comparison to a lot of.
I think it started off as maybe 3 pieces, and it expanded out to 5 over development. But other than that, it's one of the first things dropped in, shipped. Get ready to hear about that a lot on this commentary.
Oh, that's hot. That is hot. Where is my dick? Yeah, fuck that bitch. I ain't taking care of shit. The fuck you mean take care of her? She got goddamn dementia. I ain't dealing with it. There's a moose. Get the fuck out of here. What are you doing? Oh shit.
Hey, it's Chris again.
Oh, it's Jake.
So, if you're listening to this right now, it's because you went off the beaten path really early in the game. Obviously, you probably did that because the commentary map told you to. But
you don't need a map to tell you to go here. You could just go here.
We had to. One of the biggest challenges in this game was throughout the entire narrative, keeping in mind that really players can pretty much go anywhere that they've unlocked on the map.
The map? What the fuck are we talking about right now?
At any time, and sometimes that's actually really inconvenient for the narrative of the game. We had to come up with a lot of excuses for why you couldn't think of an excuse.
Some call it an excuse, others call it a thrilling narrative event.
There we go.
Right, so for instance, where you are right now, if you keep walking in that direction, you will sort of cross the river, but then be unable to go any further.
There's like a lot of dense underbrush.
And then about halfway through the game, when a big fire happens, that area is burned out, and you can walk past it into Cottonwood Creek and
Pork Pond, etc.
And all those areas. Yeah, it was really, really hard to think of justifications like that weren't completely implausible.
Yep.
And so we actually have relatively few cases of that in the game.
Yeah, if we couldn't come up with a good way to keep a player out of a space, we instead flipped the other direction and went, well, what can we do to support it and make it interesting? On this day, before the story started, not a whole lot, but we thought it was fun to point out that you can wander a lot more of the map than you might even think at the very, very, very start of the game.
Yep, and then especially once you get ropes, that increases a lot more. So just as you get these items that allow you to explore more of the world, we had to face these increasingly complicated and frustrating design challenges of how does the whole game not break all the time now. It was interesting and difficult, but also cool.
Yep, bye.
This is cute. Okay. Oh. Hello. I wonder if I can break it. I feel like I could. He said that's better. He said I own that shit either. It's really sad. My dad has my play like by share right now, and I don't know how to cancel it. He doesn't even fucking play his PS5. Not enough. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Jesus Christ. Oh, you playing with that World War II game? Yo, screen share, screen share. I'm gonna pin you to my right left corner, bitch. Bro, I'm dead ass buying this game on Tuesday, bro. That shit looks so good. So fucking good, bro. You can't add a scope or nothing? That's crazy. But it makes sense, makes sense. Oh, yo. That's crazy. Fair enough.
I'm Nels Anderson, and I was a designer and gameplay programmer on FireWatch.
I am Jane Ng, and I worked on the 3D environment art in FireWatch.
So you're likely standing at the base of your home away from home. Your home in the wilderness. For all intents and purposes, more or less, this is basically just a real straight-up tower like they existed out in the woods, right?
Yeah, I think it is Portland. There's somebody in Portland who was very good about archiving a lot of blueprints about various types of fire lookouts of the state, and we got some, and so that's how we started off building the FireWatch. I mean, the lookout tower, just by looking through how there were actually the stairway you see here. Fire lookout stairways are not on the outside, but for more.
Look around crazy. You actually see a big old plastic cistern.
We are not a survival game of any sort, but it is important to make sure that all that stuff is actually thought out.
As
so
you
the space
should.
feels realistic.
Right. You don't want someone playing the game being like, wait a minute. There's no how does this guy drink? How is he not dead?
When I normally play video games, I'm always interested in stuff like, hey, where's the bathroom? So here we have the outhouse, and you can go anywhere. But stuff like water is very important. So in a real fire lookout situation, what they do is use
You said I
cistern, and
can't
they will
let that
capture
slide.
rainwater from the roof, and you will actually see that we actually have a little pipe down from the roof. And we even have what they call a first flush filter being there, which is actually what they use.
That's my favorite kind of filter, really.
Yeah, I had to look up what do they do, because once you go, okay, you collect rainwater from the roof, it won't be all nasty, and then hey, somebody already figured that out.
As you should.
Collect rainwater. What do you know?
We actually visited a number of different lookout towers as we were researching the game, and it was always very satisfying to see elements of things we saw in the real world and make their way back into the game, and vice versa.
So we also made sure to have a tab here, like a little faucet, where you can actually get water from the cistern.
Yeah, if you click on it, it will play an animation of a hand gripping a knob and water comes out for 2 seconds. It doesn't do anything, but it's there.
I think for a while we actually were thinking, should we just let the player turn on the water? Or then what happens if the water just runs out? And then, James had a very good idea of just going just make one animation that you turn on the faucet and turn it off immediately, just so that you know, hey, there's water in here and you won't die. That's Henry.
That was quick.
Hello, Two Forks Tower.
He said next.
Hello? Whoever this is?
It's Henry, right?
Yeah.
I'm Delilah.
Yeah, that's what the guy said on the phone.
So, what's wrong with you?
Excuse me?
People take this job to get away from something. So, what's wrong?
What's wrong with
Yeah, you are already getting fucked, bro.
Look, I just hiked for 2 days.
Germany, you already won, bro. Germany won.
You take a step. What's wrong with me?
Can I sleep forever?
Sure, buddy. Okay, now go ahead.
Okay, you're probably just rebelling against a mom who wishes you had given her grandkids, by the sound of your voice, at least 15 years ago.
28-year-old with ambition and energy and some fire in his belly in bed.
Me, I'm going now.
Just a second. Now it's my turn.
Okay, good night, bye.
Let's see. I don't know anything about you, but 9 times out of 10, folks out here simply got dumped.
Huh.
Oh, I'm jerking off the radio.
Good night.
Good night. Welcome to the job.
I do too, I wish. You see, take the shot, soldier. Take the shot. He about to miss. I can't even see it, bro. I can't even see it. No.
Well, I guess good afternoon. You probably slept like a rock. Anyway, there's still a few hours of daylight to get some work in. I can see you at your desk, so call me when you're ready.
Hey, sorry, guess I slept in.
You got a relaxing, 14 hours of sleep? Whew.
Yeah, Jesus, I guess it's what, 6?
6:45.
Whoops.
Don't worry about it. That hike puts everyone out of commission for a day or two.
He said, welcome to the lobby.
It's right in the middle of your room.
I think I should. Same thing.
You can't miss it.
Okay, yeah, I see it.
This is the Osborne Firefinder, invented in 1914 by W.B.
Osborne?
You use this to spot, you
Cooked.
guessed it, What the fuck?
What is...
Seeing what I'm seeing?
That is sick, bro. I fucking love that.
Fireworks?
The MP40 is just.
Seriously, are you seeing this?
Nels, it feels like you on the team did the most sort of digging about what the real job is like, what is in the
By Philip Connors,
Kill
which is
him.
kind of like a
Kill him.
memoir-ish thing from this dude who still is an active fire lookout even today. But I also just I called up the Ministry of Forests and Natural Resources here in British Columbia and got redirected to like 3 increasingly small Ministry of Forest offices until someone just gave me literally the phone number of this cool old lady who had once been a fire lookout. So I just kind of chatted with her for like an hour and a half just about what doing the job was like. The reason why
he
the
touching
game
you.
is not a simulation of being a fire lookout is because what everyone talks about is that the number one challenge with the job is that it is incredible. It's like, Karen's like, well, what do I do for the rest of the summer? She's like, you sit in that chair and you look out the window. That is actually what fire lookouts really do. So all the folks I talked to said, like, figuring out ways to combat boredom is the number one thing. The lady I talked to, she said she did a whole lot of needle point and cross stitch because you can do that without limiting your hands very much. Obviously, like, lookouts are also responsible for doing, you know, maintenance on their towers. But again, it's like not maintenance because some crazy.
Hey, it's Jake again.
And it's Jane again.
All right, let's talk about Two Forks Lookout. I mean, we could just talk about lookout towers in general in video games.
Dude, I want to get jumped by a raccoon.
Well, you built it. You want to talk about it?
Yes. So lookout towers have standard sizes, actually. I think most of these were either 14 feet by 14 feet in the
He
inside,
said,
or something
no.
like 7. Like there's actually
Like
a
tiny,
standard.
wow.
Yeah, the cabins have standard sizes, and the ones that you have a bed and stay in are the 14.
Yeah, I drank them all and have a
We
sea in
realized
front of me.
through a few experiments that if you make a space that's actually 14
1.
feet in the game, it would be too tiny.
Yeah, I remember you found a lookout tower enthusiast website that
I'll
had posted
down
the
it,
actual
but
blueprints
sadly,
of the state
that's
parks and
all I
forest
got,
enthusiasts.
I
So we're like, we're
think.
doing this.
Yeah.
We're building it to scale.
Yes.
It's
and
tiny. You can't
yeah,
move around.
It's tiny, and then basically the camera just has no room to maneuver at all.
Yeah, and you just feel like a fat guy, like you can't fit
Yeah.
between your desk and the
Yeah, and
firefighter.
it feels like you're just in a shoebox.
Mm-hmm.
So we did a few experiments. I was like, okay, how about it's twice as big? And when it's twice as big, and it's just
Hey,
like,
yo.
no.
Palatial.
There's no
Yeah,
way.
like,
You
wrong.
kill a
And then,
motherfucker,
like,
yo.
and the outside, the silhouette of the space also looks wrong. So
You
we
literally
ended up
can't
with,
see shit.
I think something like 1.5 size bigger than real life, and it feels like a real fire lookout.
Over the course of the game, as things change, there's a bunch of variants of the tower too, right? I mean, simple stuff like the broken window, but then also we
yes.
move furniture around. Henry gets moved in over the time.
Yeah,
over
there are different
time.
states of the interior, and we achieved that by actually swapping out the whole interior set. Like 7 or 8 times, I think.
A lot of times.
As the game moves on, then more and more of his stuff starts showing up, and then Henry is a slob, and so his like undies are everywhere and all
Window
this
gets
stuff.
broken, window gets fixed,
Exactly.
conspiracy board goes up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and dirty socks get all over the place. Just tell the story of some slobby dude up here.
Exactly.
Found the supply box.
Great.
Think.
Do people lose their shit doing this job? There's a note that says a guy just left his post.
It happens, yeah. You're not gonna pop your top, are you, Henry?
I wasn't planning on it. People just stuff these things with old food? That's how you get bears.
Those boxes are bear-proof. I wouldn't worry about it.
Just ate a random fucking snack out of a goddamn supply box. I want to get attacked by a raccoon.
Hey, there's a tree out here that's been ripped to hell.
And?
Don't you think that's, disconcerting?
Henry, there are 500-pound grizzly bears out here. They sharpen their claws on trees.
We don't have grizzlies in Colorado. People killed them a long time ago.
Well, in the thoroughfare, they hunt people. They kill
Jake,
Oh, hey, Sean.
you did a neat thing here in the game that I like a lot, which is when you make a dialogue choice with Delilah about what this dangerous hill should be called. It shows up on your map, and I like that a lot.
Yeah, when we were putting the map system together, well, actually, the map weirdly was one of the latest things, one of the final things to come into the game as a fully fleshed out piece. But an upside of that is we built the map using a lot of tools we already had. For instance, the system that checks which things you haven't talked about, which things you haven't found in the game. Use the same variable list as our speech system. So when I was putting this together, I realized, oh, not only can I put a mark down on the map when Henry finds it or talks about it, but I can totally look at the same tools we use for dialogue and figure out what
I
the player
just
said
fell.
on the map.
Oh, you got a
And the
PPS
end result
age?
felt really natural. I actually wish we'd gone a little deeper on it in the game, but I'm really happy with what's in there right now. Also, please name this shitty boss is going to get me killed, because that's objectively the best name for the hill.
Is that your handwriting?
Yeah, you got to cram that in there, but it's still readable.
Hey,
What the hell's wrong with you?
Widowmaker got the best of me.
What exactly happened?
My rope snapped coming down the shale slide.
You didn't break anything, did you?
No, I think I'll make it.
Well, be careful for Christ's sake.
The wonderful sound. That's how I like it.
Hi, this is Ollie Moss, and I was the art director on FireWatch.
I'm Jane.
Hi, Jane.
Let's talk about this teen
Let's talk
party
about this.
zone.
Let's talk about the Teen Zone. So the Teen Zone is one of the first areas that we used as a sort of art test to see how we would go about building the rest of the game.
KIA.
You from the pretty early on that, like, on day one, you will start from the tower, and you will have to head down to the lake, and somewhere in between, you will see some teens, and they're partying. And so we call this the teen zone, because this is where all the teen stuff is.
Yeah, and it was important to us that the reveal that it was a group of teens was communicated through the level design. So the idea was that you just kind of like walk through some trees and burst out into this scene where a campfire was still burning.
And you had a pretty strong idea of what you wanted to look like.
Yeah, I just wanted to put some big angular rocks in there, which is basically the like my modus operandi for the entire game. But we wanted to have a big angular sort of rock, which became known as Pride Rock because it looked so much like the rock from The Lion King.
We did name that Pride Rock, didn't we? That rock does serve as a very strong landmark pretty early in the game, and it kind of does point the player in the right direction.
Exactly. Should we talk a little bit about our process for designing these areas?
So in the beginning, when we just have like no concept art, we will just mock it out with just gray, literally just gray boxes and a gray terrain. And then we will take screenshots and give it to Ollie to be like, please pretty this up, Ollie.
Oh, well, first of all, I'll do a terrible garbage sketch and pitch it to the team. And if people like the gist of it, then we'll go away and do a bit more of a detailed drawing, and then you would go.
Yeah, we'll add in some more shapes, and we just keep going back and forth with paint overs from Ollie.
And then it's just a sort of tennis, really, just back and forth between the two of us until everyone's happy with what we have.
Yeah.
There are panties.
There are what?
I don't want to say that word again.
Why, because you're 12?
I found them in the lake.
Skinny dipping.
Yeah.
Is that a guy over there? Oh boy. Enjoy dealing with that.
My name is Patrick Ewing. I worked on tools and gameplay programming.
The teens, Patrick.
Let's open some old wounds here.
This is like going back to like an old battleground and being like on these hollowed grounds.
Yeah, I
bad
died on
things
this hill.
happened. I died on this hill.
Yeah. I mean, it's one of the most complex interactions in the game, if not the most, right?
Yeah.
And it was in the game from the very first vertical slice we did, and then I think we kind of added to it as we played through it and saw like, oh, we should be able to throw the boombox in the lake, obviously, right? Okay, the teens need to react to the boombox being in the lake. Oh, but then they should also react to you putting it down.
What you should do if you're making a video game is build relatively ironclad, predictable AI
Get
systems
fucking
that react
shot.
to inputs. But instead, we built a series of relatively flimsy state machines that were like, if this, if this, if this, but not when, and also if.
Right.
And we're able to create the scene as designed. And Patrick was sort of the shepherd of this scene. So whenever anything would break, if you were to throw the boombox and the teens were not to respond, or you leave with the boombox and they would talk about something else, it was Patrick's job to ferret into the state machine and figure out what was going on.
Yeah, and I'm happy with how it turned out. There are so many different ways that this scene can play out now, depending on what you choose to do. Do you throw the fireworks at them? Do you talk to them and then start messing up their stuff and throwing it in? And it ends up being pretty like believable. They feel like real characters. It's just such a crazy spaghetti code in the back end that I'm always
Fuck, I
terrified when I
got
see someone
people
play through it.
talking.
Some interaction that we didn't think about.
Right now, the player is interacting with the teens in a way that is completely not by the book. And
I mean, luckily we
beads of
haven't.
sweat are building on your brow.
Yeah, I think it's just a PTSD response at this point. We would see the bug reports if this was actually still breakable.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a fair trade.
Starting to feel like it. I found a sweatshirt from the University of Eastern Colorado.
German music.
Of Eastern Colorado?
I really don't think there is.
Why would somebody make that up?
Right, and then put it on a sweatshirt.
The world's a weird.
Hello, my name is Erin Yvette, and I'm the voice of Chelsea.
Hi, my name is Nikki Rapp, and I'm the voice of Lily.
And we're the drunk teens in the lake.
The obnoxious, skinny dipping, drunk, firework blasting teens.
This isn't the first time that you've played a Lily, though.
It is not. It's actually the third time I've played a Lily. My first Lily was Lily Zanotto in Psychonauts. And then I played the lovable Lily in The Walking Dead in Telltale. And now I'm Lily in Campos Santo's amazing game FireWatch.
I'm pretty sure the backstory behind my character's name is that it's Sean Vanneman's girlfriend's name. Slightly less backstory for me personally, but she's a cool person in real life, so it's fine. Although I wouldn't say that this character is based off of her, because this character is...
Well.
I guess I always pictured her being changing majors constantly in college because she's like can't decide what she wants to do. Like she's gone through like psychology and sociology and just constantly flunking out of everything.
Yeah,
so she's just switching until something sticks.
That's good you had ambition. I don't think my character really... I think she just was kind of drunk, cutting class.
This isn't the first time that they've done something like this.
Not at all. I think they were professionals at it. They were good.
Hi, everyone. This is Ben Burbank. I'm a programmer at Campo Santo, predominantly doing graphics work and performance stuff. And I'm here with Jane.
Hi, I'm back.
And we're going to talk a little bit about, in general, how the world sort of streams in. This is a big open world game. There are, like, what, tens of thousands of trees somewhere in there?
Yeah, and we have how many chunks of the world that we stream in and out?
There are 100 plus.
Yeah, I think over 120.
One of the big challenges with that was we have to remove parts of it when you're not looking at it, because video game consoles and computers don't like to draw things that aren't
scene.
Especially not a lot of trees.
Yeah, it's a lot of work for that little graphics card to do to try and draw all those that big forest. So the canyon's one of the spots where we have like obvious occlusion, where you can't see most of the world. So we unload like the tower hub, the tower that you see.
Damn,
in the
these
canyon is fake.
motherfuckers just don't
This is all
stop
fake
talking.
Yeah.
Which is a common trick.
Yeah, so it's like a very low cost version of what it would actually be there.
One of the biggest challenges for Jane and people building the levels was figuring out line of sight. So how far can you see? Like if you have a point where you can see entirely across the map, we had to be very careful about what is actually loaded and what's actually drawing.
Yeah, so even though the canyon is pretty much a straight corridor, we had to put in some kinks in there. So, you know, like right sort of in the middle, there's a little area where you have to go around a rock. This is so that we could make sure you won't be looking at the lake when we basically delete it out of the world.
Yeah. The game also, you know, it's sort of non-linear. Like there's a linear story going on, but there's the ability for the player to just go backwards. So we also had to keep in mind like reverse line of sight and things like that, which is a little different than a traditional action game or something.
Yeah, it's kind of like a little puzzle game almost to figure out when we should count things. So hopefully you don't notice any of this. That's actually us not doing a great job.
You probably will notice it though. I'm sorry about that.
Hi, I'm Jane. We're back.
And I'm Ollie.
Let's talk about this cave, Ollie.
Oh, let's not.
This cave really gave us
What
all
the
quite a bit of
fuck?
headache, actually.
What am I
I was
looking
actually
at?
kind of having a mini panic attack because one of the hardest things to light in games actually is any area that's sort of half indoor and half outdoor, and this cave is a pain in the butt to light.
It is. Well, having we thought you'd be an old pro at this, having worked on a game called The Cave.
Is he doing anything?
I love the little details in Firewatch's branching dialogue. There are a lot of very subtle, hard-to-notice things that Sean put in while writing it that you really couldn't notice without multiple playthroughs, but they add up to this feeling that you're talking to real people, just like real people. Kind of
Huck
go back to
that
things you
shit,
said
bro.
earlier,
Huck that shit.
Who you know, continue in jokes that have been established, et cetera, et cetera. And one of the subtlest that I don't think I noticed until I was rewiring the game midway through is the spooky figure that you meet.
Huck a bitch, bro. Just huck a bitch.
Figure. If the teens call you a creep, Henry calls the guy who's like putting a flashlight in his face a creep.
Right.
He goes, "There's some guy out here creeping," or he says something like, "He's a creep out here." She's like,
Yeah.
"A creep, Henry." He's like,
Right.
"Yeah, there's a guy who's spooking me out here. I don't like it." And I mean, I like doing stuff like that. I pay a lot of attention to the sort of infectiousness of language.
Yeah.
Especially in this office, someone will start using a turn of phrase that then I'll be at lunch with someone later, or I'll be out with Jake or
Oh,
whatever,
you in the
and then I'll hear the
class.
phrase
Theory crafting.
through them,
Yeah.
you know, where it's like, you know, like if somebody was saying, "Oh, there was a total creep outside at the bus stop," then it wouldn't be long, like 18 hours later, it would be totally conceivable to hear Jake be like, "Oh yeah, that guy's kind of a creep. I don't know if we should have him by or whatever."
Yep.
And I'd be like, "Man, okay, like that word is now like bubbling along the surface of our social networking." And I like, people are like that. People are weird, sort of like passive, like non-participatory sponges sometimes.
Yeah.
And I just like putting that stuff in the writing. And you can,
Chris again here.
Hey, and Jake, congratulations, player. You have completed the teen loop.
Oh man, that's true. This is the end of what was originally called teenloop.unity, a scene file in our game engine Unity, because we thought that was just going to be the file corresponding to the
To
first
this piece
sort
of game that you've just played.
Yeah, this first big objective.
But then we kept building, so all of Firewatch is in fact saved inside of a file called teenloop.unity. So
Yep, the
know that
entire
for the
game.
rest of your play experience, you are inside of the teen loop.
Yeah. This part of the game, you probably are right now if you're listening to these commentary notes basically in sequence. The music is either about to kick in or has just kicked in. It's dark. You're finding your tower's been broken into. This, I really strongly remember feeling when this went into the game and had the music, which was actually the first music implemented in the entire game. All this stuff together felt to me like the first real moment of assertive tension in the game, and it felt really crazy.
Yeah, because we had our environment system working for the first time, so the sky turned to nighttime, and our world logic allowed the tower to switch into its broken into state just when you were off in the world for the first time. And then when that music finally came in, we're like, oh, wow, okay, this is a world that's alive and can be tense and cinematic. And all of it happened without us ever having to cut the camera. I remember we were all very proud and stoked of that.
For sure.
That was like right before
No
we first
way.
demoed the game, I think, at the Penny Arcade Expo.
Yeah, because the end of day one.
Nels, it feels like you on the team did the most sort of digging about what the real job is like, what is in the actual space, and then checked us against reality when we kind of went off the reservation.
I mean, in general, I really like doing research. That's sort of a thing I've enjoyed on all the projects I've worked on. So for this, a bunch of folks on the team read this great book called Fire Season by Philip Connors, which is kind of like a memoir-ish thing from this dude who still is an active fire lookout even today. But I also just, I called up the Ministry of Forests and Natural Resources here in British Columbia and got redirected to like 3 increasingly small Ministry of Forest offices until someone just gave me literally the phone number of this cool old lady who had once been a fire lookout. So I just kind of chatted with her for like an hour and a half just about what doing the job was like. The reason why the game is not a simulation of being a fire lookout is because what everyone talks about is that the number one challenge with the job is that it is incredibly, impossibly boring.
Because you can't, like, read a book. You can't, like, be doing other things, right? Like,
not really.
Yeah.
At the end of day 3, where Delilah mentions, it's like, Karen's like, well, what do I do for the rest of the summer? She's like, you sit in that chair and you look out the window. That is actually what fire lookouts really do. So all the folks I talked to said, like, figuring out ways to combat boredom is the number one thing. The lady I talked to, she said she did a whole lot of needle point and cross stitch because you can do that without looking at your hands very much. Obviously, like, lookouts are also responsible for doing, maintenance on their towers. But again, it's like not maintenance because some crazy Yahoo smashed up your tower. It's maintenance like, oh, the paint is kind of flaking off, better paint it, or these trees have grown too tall, so I need to chop them down. Not, I'm chopping down trees to form a weird log bridge.
The main takeaway from whenever we would talk to someone who had done this job is, why would you make a game about that? That is the most boring time of my entire life. So hopefully we showed them how.
It feels like people who do this job like fall into 2 camps, right? They're the people who think they can do it and can't hack it and bail after like a month or 2. People like Jack Kerouac who tried to do this and wrote about it in Desolation Angels, and then he went crazy from a lack of cigarettes and then left. Or the people who kind of enjoy the solitude and then figure out ways to deal with it. But we do have like a lot of the window dressing for the stuff people use, like other folks I talk to. It's like, what do you do? Well, we read a lot of books, and we like trade the books between the different lookouts through rangers and stuff like that. So of course, FireWatch has a crap ton of weird books in it, stuff like that.
God damn, people just keep fucking talking. Oh. You got clapped. I was literally just about to say, bro, I'm falling asleep in my chair. I'm also going to bed. Alright, bro, I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.